One thing I have noticed more I look for it is so many people do not respect people when they are here, and they respect them even a little bit less, if not completely ignore the people when they're no longer with us. People just take it for granted that their family members or friends are basically going to be here forever. So they do not make any special time to talk to them and spend time with them. I've seen brothers and sisters, they don't, get together, don't help each other out. I mean, it's just really sad to see something like that happen that shouldn't be happening. And after the parents are no longer here, it's like they split up and talk and text or communicate in any kind of way, even less. They all go on their own way, and only time you really communicate is if one needs help in some way or another. That's not the way a family should be. Now, friends, I can see, you're not as close to friends as you are with your family. Family is blood. And even if you're adopted, you're still family. I've seen it so many times that kids will not spend time with their parents, not time with their brothers and sisters. And then they just show up at the funeral, maybe, and then you never hear from them again. I don't know what this world has come to, that family does not mean family as it used to. I'm glad that I have a family that I know I can just text any of them that's still here, and I know I'm going to get a response if I need their help or want to get up and meet somewhere for lunch or dinner or whatever. I would say over 98% of the time, they'll do it. It has to be something really serious, something that's already in place that they're not able to go. Just like less than a month ago, my brother, the one that's just older than I am, had his problem with his heating and air unit. They just had it installed last year. He talked to me on the phone about it, what it's doing. I got him to go through some steps and testing and stuff, see if I can determine what possibly the issue is. And I came to a conclusion what it was. And I told him that I can go out there at a certain time. I think it was like the next day. These grandkids been keeping me up long hours. Early in the morning with the little one, less than a year old. Shoot, less than 6 months old. And the two older grandkids been keeping me up long hours because it's just like 10:30 now, and they just went to bed. Now I got quietness that I can actually record. But I went out there the next day and looked at what I thought it was. And I determined that's what the issue was. I made a video of doing the repair actually on my heat and air channel, which I haven't made a video on it for years. And he said his neighbor's unit was acting up as well, but not doing the same thing. So he sent me a little video clip of what it was doing. And I told him what I thought it was, and I do believe he's got somebody that's actually in the industry of heating and air that can come and confirm that that's what the issue is. And if not, I can go out there and look at it and see if that's what it is or not. And what I think it is the unit is low on charge, and when it runs, the low pressure actually kicks in. Or it could be the high pressure if it's got a clog in it somewhere, but I'll put my gauges on it and be able to tell. But that is if they, need me to come out there and check it. But that's what family is for, to help each other. Not just when mom and daddy's still living or you still staying at home. I've seen so many families, when they get older, they get a career and they move to a different state, sometimes a different country, and they may get together for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and maybe it's every 3 years or 5 years. They don't call each other until somebody needs something. They don't call just to say hello. And that's why I, myself, stayed in the same city that my parents were in, where I was born and raised. My mother passed. Then it was nothing but my father there at the house, so I want to stay close. And if you draw a straight line from his house that I was born in, not born in, but raised in, I was raised in, except, I got there. He built that house in 68, and I was born in 66. So ever since 2 years old until I left, I was at that house. But from that house to the house that I was in was less than a mile away if you draw a straight line. It was only like a 6-minute drive. And I go over there on the weekends, and we sit out on the porch, screened-in porch, and just talk. Or we'll sit in there and watch TV, watch his shows that he loved, Bonanza and Lawrence Welk show, whatever he wanted to watch. We just sit there and watch. And usually after we sit there for about an hour, hour and a half, we'll doze off and go to sleep. Wake up, we may go and get something to eat. Just spend time together. It's just a shame that that's not the norm anymore. Pretty much after your parents raised you and you move out, it's almost like they don't exist anymore. And that's why even till today, when a family member has passed, their birthdays for me becomes a holiday. I do nothing on them days. I spend all day remembering them. I do things that individual, my father or my mother or my sister, used to do together. I go do that particular things. I sit back, and on my daddy's birthday, I'll watch the shows that we used to watch. Go eat at the restaurant that we used to eat at. Same for my mother. Things that she likes to watch on TV. Or she loves cooking. She loves cooking. So sometimes on her birthday, I may bake a cake or something, just remembering her. And I do the same thing about my sister, places that we used to go. mean, it's a real shame that seeing families kind of become so distant from each other when they leave the nest. It's almost like mom and daddy no longer exist, regardless if they're alive or not. I mean, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. Sometimes I'll go to the beach and just sit back and look out there where we used to go fishing and just think about all the good times. When me and all my brothers and my dad used to get aluminum boats. It was the boat that my daddy built by hand, and then we tied a rope to aluminum boat. I think it was a 12, 14 foot, and tied it on with a rope with all of our gear in it. We go dunk hunting, ride all the way out to a little island and spend 2-3 nights, go oystering, go fishing, dunk hunting. Just all them good times that we had. Or go play a round of golf. I had the privilege of playing golf with my dad and some of the older gentlemen in church. They used to get together sometimes and go play golf, and they invited me one day, and I jumped all over it. And after my father was not able to get out there and be able to swing like he used to and be able to see as good as he used to, I sold my clubs because it's something that him and I is not going to do anymore together. I haven't played golf since because it's something that him and I did, and I enjoyed it. And them days I'll never forget. And that's why I take all the birthdays of family members that has passed and treat them as a holiday to celebrate the times that me and that individual had, whether it's my father, my mother, or my sister that's passed. When they're here, you have all the time in the world to tell them how much you appreciate and how much you love them. But when they're gone, that's it. They're gone. There's no coming back. And that's another benefit of and privilege that you get to being an entrepreneur. And not only I take them days as holidays, I really treat them as a true holiday to celebrate. I would do no work, no heating and air work at all. Don't matter what. That was a holiday. I wish more people would appreciate their family members more than they do. I've seen some after they leave home, they won't show back up until the person has passed, like their parents. And some of them, sad but true, all they there for, not just grief over them, but what am I going to get? That's all they really there for. Yeah, they'll hang around and chit chat and all and do all the things that should be done just to put on a show. But that's all they're there for, is what am I going to get? What do they have that they are no longer needing because they're no longer here? What can I get? I'm the opposite. I was there and I grieved. I still grieve basically every time they have a birthday. Just because they're gone don't mean you can't celebrate their birthday. And the only thing I received from my parents, physical things, I got a little bit of silverware and I got a round plate that holds eggs and some plates. I think I like 5 plates, a handful of silverware, and a plate that holds eggs. That was it. I don't need all that material stuff. I'm not going to, I have to have a big place just to store it. I'd rather have the memories. It's more valuable than the material stuff. Oh, I forgot. I do have the TV that my father had that I repaired, that he used for his last few years that he was actually with us. And I was going to let one of my brothers have it. He said, "No, you repaired it. That's something that you and Dad that sat there and watched your Western shows and Lawrence Welk show on Saturdays." He said, "We think you should have that." I said, "Okay." So I took it, and that's it. A handful of silverware, the TV, some plates in it, and a plate that holds eggs. It's something that I can use, each time I eat, that I can sit there and remember, even while I'm eating, with all the, about all the food that my mother used to cook. And she always cooked more than what we needed. I mean, she'll cook enough to have supper, but she'll have enough cooked that everybody will have lunch the next day. And then she'll do it all over again. I mean, it's a really pitiful sight to see people not appreciating their family members and their parents as they should. Just because you may have arguments with them, but they brought you up and taught you from right and wrong and the way things should be. But people just don't appreciate it as they used to. Kids talking back to their parents. I mean, it's just really heartbreaking when I see it. I mean, I see kids that's in the parking lot. I see kids will be, I would say, 10, 12 years old, yelling back at the adults that they're with, which I'm assuming that it's their parents. And usually it's the mother that they're yelling at. And the lady, which I'm assuming it's mother, just, brushes it off. Sometimes yells back at them, tell them to get in the car and all. But it's painful to see something like that. Because if the kid is willing to yell at their parents or any adult when they're that young, what are they going to be like when they get older? They don't have no discipline then enough to keep them from doing that when they're at young age. What are they going to do when they get out of high school? It's really heartbreaking to see it. And over the last 5, 6 years, I've seen more of it. It used to be that I would have to look for it. But now it almost slaps you in the face if you out and about enough, going store to store, and you'll see it out in the parking lot or even in the store. I've seen it where kids grab candy or a toy or something and put in the buggy, and Mom would take it back out and say, no, we can't get this. And then the kid would just cuss them out upside and down the other and put it back in the buggy and all that. I'm just glad I didn't have kids that way. I know I didn't treat my parents that way. I appreciate my parents. That's why all the birthdays of my family members that has passed is holidays for me for as long as I live. And then I got other people I know that lives 2 or 3 states over from where their parents are laid to rest, and they take an effort and take time to drive it on their parents' or brothers or sisters' birthday. Maybe not exactly on that day, maybe the weekend of it, the weekend before or after, to go pay their respects and just spend time with them and sit there and have memories of the good times they had when that individual was here. But now they show up and, to the wedding, to the funeral, and like, what am I gonna get? Okay, bye, and never see them again. They just don't have respect as they used to be. I remember when kids just respect the heck out of their parents. Even when my kids were still going to school and they were in like 5th, 6th, 7th grade, I've seen so many kids at that age that were just disrespectful to any adult that tried to have authority over them. They throw things, curse at them, run out, and just leave campus. What it was just, it's just, and it's just getting worse. And the things they teach in school now is, I'm glad my kids are not facing that and associated with it in any way. But if you got family members that's no longer here, parents or brothers or sisters, have some decency and take time, sit down for an hour or two and just sit there and remember them, the good times that you had with them. Regardless how little that there have been good times. I just hope the world gets better, because the direction that they're going is frightening. Maybe next year things will start turning around, get back to where they used to be. Because for the last 4 years, it's been chaos. But I want to thank each and every one that's come by and watched the video here. I'm trying to put out one every day. It may be a regular video like this, or it may be a 3-minute short, or it may be multiple ones in one day. But show the ones that's helped you through your life some respect and some courtesy, and be sure your appreciation is noted and they know that you appreciate what they've done for you, regardless if they're family or not. But if they're family, remember all the good times that you had. And I'll see you in the next video.